Are you wanting to get better returns for your growers by delivering better product to market? And are you reviewing your packaging options as your main approach? Yeah, me too. How about we swap notes? Let me tell you what I've been thinking about first. As I see it, my product starts out in the field naked as individual items and ends up with consumers naked as individual items. But it's too expensive to carry the individual items from field to consumer one by one. So I collect them together into piles and then into packages so I can handle them efficiently. Then later, I take them out of the packages again and put them into piles for display to consumers. And somewhere in all of that, I'm losing way too much product. Let's break that issue open and have a look. Unless a crop has real problems, my growers harvest close to 100% of the crop that grows on the plant. But then they reject some at grading time because it doesn't meet standards, perhaps 10%. The remaining, say 90%, goes into the food care system. Here, product is cooled, stored, transported, and delivered for retail sale. But the environment isn't perfect for my product. That's where the packaging I've been using comes in, to protect my product from imperfect handling environments. But by the time it reaches retail, about a third of the crop has become unsaleable. And finally, consumers leave some uneaten, perhaps another 10%. So of the original crop harvested by my grower, maybe only around 50% actually gets eaten. We hear a lot these days about a food crisis coming, as our food production will struggle to keep pace with our growing population. But it seems amazing to me that we deliver 50% more into the food care system than we get out, and we grow almost twice the amount that we actually consume. My sense is that packaging has a huge role to play in fixing this problem, and I've been thinking about how it could work. Physical damage is often the main direct cause of my losses, and packaging can really help here. But sometimes the other defects can have a bigger effect on what my customers buy. Rots are often the worst, and product that shows signs of aging also sends strong warning signals to my buyers. It's not surprising that they don't want to buy product that looks like it's dying. I think better packaging will help me tackle all of these problems. When I have big stacks of product, they are hard to cool. The center overheats and causes aging, and the hotspot releases water that condenses in cooler regions, for example under covers, increasing the chance of rots. But if I don't cool my product and I don't protect it from wind, it wilts or shrivels quickly. When I stack up sacks on top of one another, it puts a heavy load onto product at the base of the stack and it gets squashed, compression. And the lack of structure in the packaging means that my stacks of product can be unstable. When I transport the product, the swaying stack repeatedly squeezes product at the bottom. Impacts from the road transmit right up through the product stack, leading to more pressure marks. And if I leave product loose, it can get rub marks or abrasion as it repeatedly moves around during transport. Finally, my precious product can get stabbed by penetrating objects. A moment's carelessness can lose quality forever. All of this means I am seriously looking at upgrading my packaging from sacks to reusable plastic crates. But there's quite a bit to weigh up. When I first looked, the crates looked like they would do a compelling job of maintaining quality. But looking at the system as a whole, I can see it will need to be implemented quite carefully. Check out my mind map. It started out focused on the standard post-harvest questions relating to product quality, and here the benefits are clear. The crates will protect my product from compression, from impact and penetration, though I'm not so sure about abrasion on long road journeys. Ventilation for cooling will need to be much greater, to the point where I'm thinking about adding lightweight polythene liners to reduce water loss. And even with the liners, I think my cooling times will still be much shorter. So I expect to greatly reduce the levels of rots, the rate of aging, and the levels of physical damage by a move to using reusable plastic crates. But this needs to be weighed up against the costs of using the crates. Are the greater returns coming from the market enough to compensate for the higher costs of the crates themselves? These include the transport cost of returning empty crates to growers, the lower space efficiency for some sizes of my product, and the cost of storing the crates at my facility and of sanitizing used crates? And are there other logistical factors that just make it harder to get this system to work? I'm taking a two-pronged approach. My first is to use a free online packaging checklist available at www.postharvest.co/packaging_checklist to help me identify all the key issues and to assess how important they are in my system. But the list is long, so I'm using the good old Pareto principle to make sure I put effort into the critical 20% of issues that will give me the best return. Now that's my quick rundown. How does that compare with your thoughts? And by the way, here are the resources I found most helpful. Let me know if there's anything you think I should add.